Good evening and welcome to my latest Google Hangout. It's good to see you all again, for those who've been here before, and please can I welcome all those people who have signed on who haven't been with us before, and I know we have a number of new people who've signed on this evening, so welcome to you, and I hope you enjoy the session we're going to have this evening, and I hope that will encourage you to join again at some time in the future when I do more Hangouts. My name is Richard Jones and I'm the founder of The Entrepreneur's Best Kept Secret, and I'm a coach for entrepreneurs, and I primarily focus on manifesting. Been with us before, and I know we have a number of new people who signed on this evening, so welcome to you, and I hope you enjoy the session we're going to have this evening, and I hope that will encourage you to join again at some time in the future when I sorry about that, slight technical issue, and these do happen occasionally, as those of you who listen regularly to people on Hangouts and webinars will know. Okay. As I said, I'm Richard Jones, and I'm the founder of The Entrepreneur's Best Kept Secret, and I'm a coach with entrepreneurs and primarily work on things such as mindset issues, confidence, motivation, and supporting people to manifest their desires. And that is what we're going to be talking about tonight. But before we start, can I just mention that we have, if you have any comments or any questions that you want to ask, then there is a chat box just down below, I'm told to point, just down below, that you can make your comments, ask your questions in. That'll come through to me, and I will do my best to answer them this evening. For those of you who prefer not to use the chat box, and I know there are a few people who would rather not, then if you want to email me during the Google Hangout at help@theentrepreneur'sbestkeptsecret.com. That's help@theentrepreneur'sbestkeptsecret.com. And if you want to email me your questions, then I will answer them. I know there are a number of people from various countries around the world who have signed on for this tonight, so there may be a few people who are going to wait for the recordings to listen. So if you are listening to a recording at this point in time and you would like to ask a question, then please email me at the same email address, help@theentrepreneur'sbestkeptsecret.com, and I will get back to you with the answers to your questions. Okay, and I think that's it for the notes. Okay, well, as I say, welcome to this evening, and I hope that we have a good evening, and hopefully we'll have a bit of interaction as well. Okay, don't be afraid to comment, and don't be afraid to ask questions, please. Okay, manifesting your desires in 90 days. What is manifesting? That's a common question that I have. And basically, when you're going to manifest your desires, what you're doing is working towards your ultimate desire of what you want. Okay? Your ultimate goal or your ultimate objective that you're aiming to. And when you achieve that, you've manifested your desire. Okay, and that is what it is. Now, with manifesting, slightly different to some other things, there are a couple of parts to it. There are practical parts to it, which I'll talk about later. And there are the issues using the unconscious mind. And this includes, for some people, not everybody, but some people will use meditation, and some people will use a lighter form of that, which is called mindfulness. Okay, which is really a quiet time focusing on an issue. And mindfulness can be as simple as that. Okay, so there's the two elements to this, which people often use. And the issue is that there is a belief that the unconscious mind can help us, and I will explain that a little bit more later on, can help us in our day-to-day work, where we use it appropriately. Okay, and there's been a lot of work done on this, so there's quite a bit of work which shows that this can work and this does happen. And there's a lot of people who will tell you their experiences of using this very successfully. It doesn't matter whether you believe that or whether it's just the practical issues that you use with this. Whichever you use, or whether you use both, it does mean hard work. There is no easy way to make a successful business. There's no easy way of saying, I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to let it happen. It doesn't work like that. It is hard work, but it can be made more enjoyable, and it can be made a nicer and an easier process if it is done methodically. Okay, so to start this process, if we want to manifest our desires, we have to know what our desire is. What is our desire? We're looking for a desire, long-term desire. Okay, what is our ultimate desire? What are we looking for? What do we really want to achieve ultimately? Now, we have to identify that very clearly before we go any further. That is our first task. It's our first objective, if you like. If we can identify our desire, then we know where we're going. But it isn't always an easy task. Many people think they know what they want. They go for it and then find it's not what they would really, really want. Or they will go for it, and actually what they found is that desire is a desire of somebody else, and they've just followed on. Maybe they've seen them get success with something, so hey, that'll be good, they're successful, I'm going to have a bit of that, and I'll start and I'll jump on the bandwagon. It doesn't work. Because what I said earlier, it's hard work and it takes commitment. If these desires are not your unique desires, then you will not achieve them. And you can put as much work in as you like, but you're not going to achieve them. It just doesn't work in that way. So they need to be your desires. It's what you want. Okay? So it's very important to identify your unique desires. Okay? Now then, when people use this process, it's not always work they talk about. I need to make this point very clear. People will use this process for their own personal life. They may use it for their educational life. What do I really want? What degree do I really want to do? Or what educational course do I really want to do? They may use it for their health. So they look at what they want to achieve in terms of their own personal health, whether it be physical health or mental health. It's been used in terms of relationships. It's been used in terms of, what do I want in the future? Do I want a family? Do I not want a family? Do I want children or not? So it's used in a lot of different ways. I tend to work with people where it focuses on their personal life and their work life. But it doesn't matter which way we use this process, that desire has to be clear, or as clear as it can be. Okay? But I will say now, sometimes as you go through the process, the desire changes. And that's part of our development as individuals as well. We change what we're looking for. We change what we're aiming for. and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? So, once this has been completed, then you can start planning on how you're going to get there. Okay? And once you've planned how you're going to get there and gone through those stages step by step, you can finally achieve your ultimate desire. Before I go through the practicalities, I want to just have a look at a simple exercise that people use. I talked earlier about the use of the unconscious, okay, and the subconscious. Then let's have a look at this and see what how it can be used. A useful exercise is just to think about what would life be like once you've achieved your desire. So you've worked out what your desire is, you've got that written down, you know exactly what you're aiming for. Now imagine, what is it going to be like? What's it going to feel like to be in that position? What's your environment going to be like? What is life going to be like? Where am I going to be living? Am I going to be living in where I am now? Or am I going to be moving? Am I going to be moving to another country? Have a think about what your desires are, okay? And think and imagine what it is going to be like and how it is going to feel for you. How is it going to look for you? What's the whole situation going to look like? At home and at work. And when you're doing this, you think and feel the immense satisfaction that you've achieved what you've got. And the satisfaction is there because you've worked hard, because you've achieved. Yeah? So that is a very important part of this. Okay? And it's very important that you feel this very strongly. Okay? It's very important that you feel in yourself, I have achieved this. Okay? Because it registers with the unconscious mind that situation. It registers, I have achieved. Okay? Now, once that bit has been done, the next step for this exercise is to think about, I've got there, I'm here. What were the steps I took to get here? So what were the objectives that you had to set? Because if you're talking about an ultimate desire of a particular job, a particular wage, I want to earn £100,000 a year in the next 10 years. What were the objectives you set yourself to achieve that ultimate desire? Think about how you did that. Think about what the objectives were and think about how you achieved them. Okay? And think of that feeling of satisfaction that you had every time you achieved one of those steps on your way to manifesting your desire. The stronger your feelings during this exercise that you do once you've actually identified your desire, the more effect it has on the unconscious mind and the more it can help you with your aims. Because what happens is, unconsciously, you're going through life day by day, you're doing the practical things, moving towards your desire, and unconsciously, your mind identifies or opens up. That's the wrong word. It identifies or it shows you an opening that's there without you really thinking about it, that will help you move along a bit quicker along that path. Okay? And that's where the unconscious mind comes in. Okay, so you use that along with the practical side, and then we will look at how they work together. Okay, I'm just going to comment here that I want to have a look at it. Right, okay. Someone was saying about the pressure that there is out there, telling you what success and what your life should look like, what success is and what your life should look like. At the end of the day, you're the only one. You're the only person who can say what success is for you, and what your life should look like. I can't tell you that, and nobody else can either. Only you. Okay? What people like me can do is help you to identify it, but we can't do it for you. Okay? Okay, thank you for that comment. That's very useful. Okay. Practicalities. Planning. Now, those of you who've listened to me before will know I cannot underestimate the importance of planning. Whatever you're doing, planning is very, very important. And I emphasize very strongly the importance of planning, because if we plan well, then we can move forward much easier, much more organized, and much quicker. Therefore, we come back again to what I said earlier, the importance of knowing your objectives. You know your ultimate desire. Now you need to look at what objectives do you need to achieve to get there, and you set out those objectives. It's very important that you set out those objectives in orderly fashion, and that they're clear objectives. Okay? Those of you who have worked with me before will know that when I talk about objective setting or goal setting, I talk about using the SMART system. And I'll very briefly just mention what that means. Okay? That all your objectives should be specific, so they're clear. They should be measurable, so you should be able to say, I have achieved or I haven't, very easily with no confusion. They should be achievable. You should never set an objective you're never going to achieve. Otherwise, you're never going to get there. They should be realistic, so they're within the time scale they can be achieved and within your abilities. And the last thing is the time scale. And there should be a time limit put on all objectives, because at that time scale then you will review whether you've achieved them or not. Okay? And because if you're using the SMART system, then that is a very useful system to use, because that will make the review much, much easier. Okay? And by using a simple system like that, progress will be made. And I'm confident that I can say that. Progress will be made. Okay? So those are some of your practical things that are very important. Now, we can attempt to do all this. We can attempt to get the ideas into the unconscious mind, to try and get the unconscious mind to help us move forward. We can do all the planning that we want to do, and the goal setting. But if we don't have the right mindset, then it'll be very difficult. I'm not saying it can't be done, but very difficult, because I believe very strongly that you have to have the right mindset to achieve your desires. If you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to have the commitment. That commitment is basically, it has to be there. Okay? You need to have the right mindset. You need to be positive and confident to be able to plan and achieve all the objectives. If you're not positive and confident, you're not going to achieve. And then when you come to review your objectives, you will not have achieved those objectives. And then you won't be able to move on to the next one. And ultimately, you'll give up. Okay? So you need to be confident and you need to be positive. You need to be positive that and confident that if you have a goal to achieve or an objective to achieve, one of your small objectives to get to your ultimate desire, you have an objective to achieve and you can't achieve that because you don't know what to do, you haven't the knowledge or the skills, that doesn't mean failure. Just make sure you know that there is no problem in asking for help. You may need to bring somebody else in, you may need to pay somebody else to do something for you, but that is fine because that is part of your planning and your objective setting. That is part of knowing the cost of what you're doing, and in your costings it's who do I have to employ or who do I have to subcontract to help me with this. Okay? So don't think it's a failure. It's not. That is just part of the building process. Motivation. Another important issue when it comes to mindset. If you're not motivated, you're not going to do it. If you're not motivated, you will not succeed. If you're not motivated, you will fail and you won't continue. Motivation and confidence, they go hand in hand. You achieve something, you become more confident. I've done it, I've achieved it. You're then confident to go on to the next thing. What is that? That's a bit of motivating as well, isn't it? That's motivation. You've achieved something, so you're motivated then to go on to the next step. So, achievement helps with confidence, helps with motivation. Confidence will help with achievement and motivation. Motivation helps with achievement and confidence. The three things work together, hand in hand. That is what I talk about mindset. This is very important, that you are confident. That doesn't mean to say you know everything. As I said, you may need help. You're confident, you're motivated, and because of that, you achieve. And you keep that scenario going, and you will achieve your ultimate desire. I'm going to throw in another little thing now on time, and it's commonly talked about as time management. You will need to make sure that you plan your time well, and organize your days and your environment to be able to take things forward. Okay? Activities around your new plans are very important. So you need to make sure that you are well organized as well. So you need to make sure that your time management is important to be able to support you to achieve, gain confidence and get motivated and continue to achieve, and so on and so on. So that's just another thing that comes in there really that you need to think about. Now, as I said, we don't know everything. None of us know everything. We need to expect some disappointments and some delays. We may not achieve all our goals on time. We may not achieve all our goals because we hadn't thought of something. It may be that we should have brought somebody in to help us and we didn't. It may be we didn't anticipate something. When we say dig a hole for something, excuse me, take an example of digging footings for a building. You come across something you hadn't anticipated, wasn't on the plans. That's something you have to then deal with, and that will be a delay. It may mean you can't meet your objective because things have changed. That's not a problem. That's where reviewing objectives come in. You review your objectives and you take it forward from there. Now, some people will say that when you put your plans in place to achieve your ultimate desire, you should have your plan, and then maybe plan B and plan C, just in case. Yes, you can, and that's fine. There's no problem in doing that at all. But this comes down to you. It could also be that you just use the review process with your objectives. And if you use the review process, that then will help you to move forward. Okay, so your choice. Again, there's no one way of doing these things, but sometimes we need to be reminded, yes, there's another way of doing that. I hadn't thought of that one, or I'd forgotten about that one. Sometimes we need reminded. So don't forget, there are other ways of doing things, okay? And those are just two of the things that I wanted to mention there. I just want to mention now, before I finish, some practical things that people can do to help them keep positive, keep motivated, to help them move forward with their objectives, to help them to manifest their ultimate desire. I'm sure you've all heard about vision boards. Having a vision board up so that you can look at the vision board regularly, reminding you what you're going for, what you're going to achieve, and what is there at the end. And that can help you with your confidence and your motivation. Some people I know have used scrapbooks. They keep a scrapbook there on their desk or on the table, and they look at it every day. And that's fine. It's similar to a vision board, but a different format. That's fine. Use a scrapbook as long as it keeps motivating you and keeps you going and keeps you positive. Other people will put pictures in prominent places. I've known people put pictures around the house, on the fridge, on the cupboard, on the doors. Yeah, and they do. They put them in prominent places to keep reminding them of what they're aiming for, keep reminding them of what they're working towards. I said earlier that don't underestimate the planning process. It's a very practical thing. It's a very important thing. Planning is important. Don't underestimate it and do a good job. You do a very good job on the planning and it makes the rest easier. If you don't plan well, you're going to hit more problems along the way. I talked about the ultimate vision being your unique vision. That's important because that motivates you. It affects your confidence. It affects your positivity. Because as I said earlier, if you're looking at other people's goals and objectives to achieve, the commitment's not there. The confidence isn't there. The motivation isn't there. So it is important that you start off with your unique vision. Very important, because that's yours. And that will mean more to you than anything else. Don't forget, there is nothing weak or negative in asking for help. It may just be a question that gets answered simply. It may be you need someone to support you for an extended period of time. Whatever it may be, don't be afraid to ask for help. Other people may have been through a similar experience, or they can come up with ideas as to how you can be helped. It is important because, again, it's not negative. For me, asking for help is part of that planning process. It's part of the objective setting, because you may come up against something, not sure about that, who can help me? It is part of the process. And it's part of a learning process, because we all continually learn, So it is very important. And last but not least, reward yourself for your achievements. Very important to reward yourself, okay? Because you should be proud of what you've done. You should be able to sit back and say, I've done that. I deserve that glass of wine. I'm just thinking to myself, I deserve that glass of wine. Oops. Or something a bit stronger in my case sometimes. But you feel good. You feel you've achieved. You feel positive and confident and motivated. And why not? You've achieved these goals. it's important that you continue to do that. Your biggest reward, obviously, is when you achieve your ultimate desire, because then you will have achieved what you wanted. You'll have got what you wanted, and that is your reward. But don't forget to give yourself some little rewards as you go along the way, as you achieve your objectives. I think that's it from me. I've got a couple more comments here. It's really nice because I've had some comments come in as I've been talking, so that's good. There we are. Someone's come in and said, my business coach got me to do a video of my future self, and it really changed things for me. I really connected with everything. It also helped to go and look at the physical things I wanted so I could touch them. That links in with the exercise we did, and that is another part that can be done with that emphasis to enhance that exercise even further, take it a bit further. And that is a very useful tool and a useful tip for people. Thank you for that. I'm not sure what that relates to. My dreams, right? I've got it. The vision board, okay. Yeah, I've got it now. I just had to think about when this came in, what I was talking about when it came in. Okay, this is someone who has said that I was talking about the vision board, maybe a scrapbook or pictures around the place. I have mine on my phone and it comes up as an alarm every day. First thing I see when I wake up. So the first thing she sees when she wakes up is what her vision is, what her desires are. And that is great. What a thing to wake up to. It's fab. Nothing wrong with looking at that before you go to sleep, because that keeps you positive. You're positive going to sleep, you're positive waking up, and that's a confidence building exercise as well. That's another tip that can be used. Okay, I think that is it for me. Apart from saying, for those of you who've listened to me today and are thinking, where do I go from here? What do I do next? Well, if you want, I do have some free discovery sessions. They are free, no obligations, for people who want to link in to me and arrange a discovery session. All you have to do is go to the website and you can access the free discovery session from that, and we'll arrange a time that's suitable for yourself and for myself, and we can talk about how you can, what you need to do and how you can go about it, and see if there's any further help that I can offer. Okay, so thank you very much for your time. It's been a lovely evening. It's been great having the comments, and it's been nice having a wider group of people join us. And for those who are going to see this as a recording, I hope you enjoy it as much as we have as well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.